Welcome back. Tonight, we are performing a psychological autopsy on the entity you once feared. You have spent months, perhaps years, walking on eggshells, terrified of their rage, their silence, and their calculated cruelty. Ask yourself the question that has haunted you in the silence of the aftermath. Why were they so defensive over nothing? Why did a simple question about their day trigger a volcanic explosion of rage? Why did a minor critique cause a week-long silent treatment? It wasn't because they were strong, it was because they were panicked. Their entire existence is a frantic, exhausting attempt to outrun a set of deep-seated primal fears that threaten to annihilate their fragile ego every single second of every single day. They aren't fighting you, they are fighting the void inside themselves. To understand the narcissist, you must visualize a fortress. From the outside, it looks impenetrable. Stone walls, high towers, armed guards. This is the false self they present to the world. The charm, the confidence, the arrogance. But inside that fortress, there is no king, no queen, no treasure. There is only a small, frightened prisoner guarding a pile of dust. The 7 fears we are about to expose are the battering rams that threaten to breach those walls, and the narcissist knows that if even one brick falls, the entire structure collapses. The irony of the narcissistic personality is that they project onto you exactly what they fear most in themselves. They called you weak, but they are the ones terrified of fragility. They called you crazy, but they are the ones terrified of their own disordered mind. They called you a failure, but they are the ones terrified of mediocrity. Tonight, we act as the mirror they refuse to look into. We are going to name the 7 demons they run from, and in doing so, we are going to strip them of the power they hold over your psyche. Fear number 1 is the fear of exposure. This is the foundational terror of their existence. The narcissist knows on a subconscious level that they are a fraud. They are actors who have forgotten they are in a play. They live in constant, low-grade paranoia that someone somewhere has the script and is about to read it out loud. When you started to see through their gaslighting, you became the most dangerous person in their world. You weren't just a partner anymore. You were a witness to the crime of their false identity. They curate their image with obsessive precision because they believe that if the world saw their true self, the envious, petty, vindictive, empty core, they would be universally rejected. This is why they smear you before you even leave. They have to destroy your credibility to protect their disguise. It isn't personal, it's survival. They are terrified that you hold the key to their secret hell, and they will burn the entire village down just to prevent you from opening that door. Fear number 2 is the fear of indifference. To a narcissist, hate is not the opposite of love. Indifference is. They can survive your anger because your anger tells them they matter. Your tears feed their ego because it proves they have power over your emotions. But your silence, your boredom, that is oxygen deprivation to a narcissist. They are terrified of the day you look at them and feel absolutely nothing. Being ignored is equivalent to psychological death for them because they only exist through the reflection in your eyes. You might have noticed how they escalate the drama when you pull away. This is a panic response. If they aren't being worshipped, they will settle for being feared. If they can't be the hero, they will be the villain. Anything is better than being the extra in the background of your life. The thought of you going about your day, laughing, working and sleeping without giving them a single thought, creates a narcissistic injury so deep it feels like a physical wound. Fear number 3 is the fear of mediocrity. The narcissist must believe they are special, unique and superior. They are the smartest person in the room, the most victimized martyr, or the most talented genius. The reality that they are just an average human being with average problems is a fate worse than death. They spend their entire lives inflating their achievements and minimizing yours, because the concept of being ordinary triggers a profound sense of shame they cannot process. As we close this first chapter, realize that the monster under your bed is actually shaking in terror. They aren't hurting you because they are powerful. They are hurting you to distract themselves from the gnawing emptiness that is eating them alive. You have been fighting a shadow, but shadows disappear when you turn on the light. So let's turn up the voltage and look deeper into the psychology of their fear. Now we descend into the twisted labyrinth of their mind. To uncover fear number 4, the fear of intimacy. This sounds counterintuitive because they demanded your constant attention, but attention is not intimacy. Intimacy requires vulnerability. It requires letting someone see your flaws, your fears, and your shame. To a narcissist, vulnerability is not a point of connection. It is a weakness to be exploited. They are terrified that if they let you get too close, you will see the cracks in the porcelain. This is why the discard often happens right after a moment of genuine closeness or a major life commitment. The moment you get close enough to see the real person behind the mask, their alarm bells ring. They feel engulfed, suffocated, and exposed. They interpret your love as a threat to their autonomy and their facade, so they push you away, sabotage the moment, or manufacture a fight. They crave connection, but they are terrified of the cost. They are starving to death while slapping the food out of your hand. Think about the times you acted independently. Did they sulk? Did they accuse you of selfishness? Did they sabotage your plans? This is because your autonomy reminds them that they are not omnipotent. They need you to be an extension of them, like an extra limb. When the limb starts moving on its own, it terrifies them. They fear that without total control, the chaotic universe they have constructed will spin off its axis and destroy them. This need for control extends to their own emotions, which they suppress violently. They are terrified of their own shadow self, the part of them that feels shame, guilt, and inadequacy. They spend unbelievable amounts of energy projecting these feelings onto you, so they don't have to feel them. They are terrified that if they ever stopped projecting, the weight of their own accumulated shame would crush them instantly. Fear number 6 is the fear of aging and mortality. Narcissism is a young person's game. It relies on looks, charm, sexual prowess, and energy. As the narcissist ages, the tools they use to manipulate supply begin to rust. They are terrified of losing their physical attractiveness because, for many of them, it is their primary currency. The aging narcissist is a tragic, bitter figure, desperately trying to cling to a youth that has fled, terrified of becoming invisible in a culture that worships the new. This fear drives them to seek younger supply, get excessive plastic surgery, or lie about their age. It's not just vanity, it's an existential crisis. They have no inner substance to fall back on. They haven't cultivated wisdom, kindness, or deep relationships. When the external shell cracks, there is nothing underneath to sustain them. They look in the mirror and see their own mortality. And because they believe they are gods, the concept of death is an insult they cannot comprehend. Fear number 7 is the fear of accountability. The narcissist operates in a reality where they are never wrong. If something bad happens, it was your fault, the boss's fault, or the weather's fault. Imagine living life terrified that the consequences of your actions are chasing you. They live in a perpetual state of running from the truth. They fear the day the court records come out, the day the screenshots are posted, the day the children grow up and realize what happened. They know, deep down, that they are guilty, and they are terrified that the gavel is about to drop. The turning point in your story, and the beginning of their nightmare, is the moment you stop reacting. It's the moment you look at their rage and feel boredom instead of fear. It's the moment you look at their love bombing and see manipulation instead of romance. This shift in your perception is the event horizon for the narcissist. They can sense it, they can smell the pheromones of your detachment, and it triggers a primal panic in the lizard brain of their psyche. They fear the discard coming from you. Narcissists always want to be the one who leaves, because it gives them the final word and the illusion of control. If you leave them first, it creates a wound that never heals. It proves they are rejectable. It proves they are not the prize. The fear of being the one left behind drives them to hoover you back in, just so they can dump you again on their terms. It is a pathetic power struggle, born of deep insecurity. They are terrified of your happiness. Seeing you thrive without them is the ultimate insult. It proves that they were the problem. It proves that you were the source of light, and they were the black hole. When they stalk your social media and see you smiling, traveling, and succeeding, it confirms their fear of mediocrity. You are soaring, and they are still stuck in the mud of their own toxicity. Your joy is their misery. Watch how they react to your boundaries. A boundary is a kryptonite wall to a narcissist. When you say, "I will not discuss this," or "I am leaving the room," you are forcing them to sit with their own unresolved emotions. They panic because they use you as a trash can for their feelings. If the lid is closed, they have to hold their own garbage. And they are terrified of the smell of their own soul. The shift in power reveals their cowardice. When you finally stand up and speak with calm, unshakable authority, you will often see the narcissist shrink. Their eyes dart around the room. They stutter. They try to change the subject. Without the element of fear to control you, they are defenseless. They are a bully who has finally been punched in the nose, shocked that their victim has teeth. Their social circles begin to shrink. The fear of exposure comes true. Friends get tired of the drama. Family members go low contact. Colleagues distance themselves. The narcissist ends up surrounded only by enablers and sycophants who are too weak to challenge them. They sit in a kingdom of dirt, ruling over subjects they secretly despise, terrified that even these people will eventually leave. The fear of aging accelerates the collapse. They become the bitter elder, angry at the world for moving on without them. They resent the youth, they resent the successful, they resent the happy. Their face settles into a permanent scowl of victimhood. They become the person screaming at the waiter, the neighbor suing over a fence, the relative nobody invites to Thanksgiving. They are alone in a crowd, radiating a toxicity that repels human connection. The internal void consumes them. Without the constant distraction of abusing you, they fall into a depression that is dark and bottomless. This isn't sad depression. It's an angry, lethargic void. They stop grooming. They stop trying. They become a shell, addicted to cheap dopamine, gambling, drinking, doom-scrolling, anything to avoid looking in the mirror. They are haunted by the one that got away. That's you, but not because they loved you, because you represent the best supply they ever had, and you are the proof of their failure. They stalk you, not out of affection, but out of a desire to see you fail. When you don't fail, when you keep winning, it drives them deeper into their collapse. You are the phantom limb they can still feel hurting. The fear of being ordinary becomes their reality. They look back on a life of broken relationships and half-finished projects and realize they left no legacy. They didn't build, they only destroyed. This realization is a soul murder for the narcissist. They are forced to confront the fact that they are not the hero of the movie. They are the villain who dies alone in the final act. Paranoia becomes their dominant state. They believe everyone is out to get them because they know that if roles were reversed, they would be out to get them. They project their own malice onto the world. They trust no one. They live in a self-imposed bunker, armed against enemies that don't exist, shaking with fear at shadows on the wall. So, why have I told you all of this? Why expose the 7 fears? It is not to make you pity them. It is to empower you. You have spent so long feeling small, feeling hunted, feeling weak. But look at the evidence. You are the one who faced the truth. You are the one who felt the pain and healed it. You are the one capable of intimacy, of growth, of change. In the dynamic between you and the narcissist, you were always the strong one. They feared you. Let that sink in. They feared your light because it exposed their darkness. They feared your strength because it highlighted their weakness. They feared your voice because it spoke the truth. Every attack, every insult, every gaslighting attempt was a confession of their terror. They were trying to bring you down to their level because they knew they could never rise to yours. You do not need to seek revenge. Revenge is a low-vibration game that keeps you tied to them. The greatest revenge is your own happiness. It is living a life so full, so authentic, and so vibrant that they become a distant memory, a footnote in the story of your rise. The narcissist's worst nightmare is you healing and forgetting they exist. Stop looking for closure from them. You will never get it. A person who cannot be honest with themselves cannot be honest with you. Closure is a gift you give yourself. It is the moment you decide that you are no longer a character in their tragedy. You are the author of your own new chapter. Understand that their fear is their punishment. You don't need to punish them. Waking up every day as a narcissist, unable to love, unable to trust, unable to feel peace, is a life sentence. They are in a prison of their own making. You have the key. You have walked out the gate. Don't look back at the cell. You are free. The fear they planted in you was never yours. It was a projection of theirs. Give it back. Visualize yourself handing them back their shame, their insecurity, and their terror. Say, "This belongs to you. I am done carrying it." Feel the weight lift off your shoulders. You are the survivor. You walked through the fire and came out refined, not burned. You have a depth of empathy and wisdom now that few people possess. You know what evil looks like. which means you also know what true good looks like. You can spot the fakes. You are bulletproof now. The narcissist will continue to run from their 7 fears until the day they die. But you stop running today. You stand still. You plant your feet, and you claim your space in this world. You are worthy. You are real. You are Take a deep breath. That air isn't toxic anymore. That is the air of freedom. Embrace the ordinary, beautiful, messy, real life you have reclaimed. It is a precious gift. Guard it, nurture it, and never let anyone make you fear your own light again. Thank you for watching. If this video unlocked something in you, if it helped you see the ghost behind the mask, please hit the like button and subscribe. Share this with a survivor who needs to know the truth. You are not alone, and you are stronger than you think. I'll see you in the next one. Keep shining.